Those blocks on the roof of the king's chamber weigh 70 tons each. Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks.
For centuries, the ruins of Baalbek in Lebanon have left experts speechless.
Baalbek, which is located in Lebanon, and I had the great privilege of going there.
Massive stones were cut and placed with such perfect accuracy that even modern cranes would struggle to move them. The Romans, who always recorded their great works, left no explanation for how these blocks were lifted high into place.
What is the weight of that? What's the overall weight?
That's 1.7 million pounds.
For years, the mystery has only deepened. But now, artificial intelligence has studied Baalbek, and its results are shocking. Could this be the final clue that rewrites everything we thought we knew about ancient builders? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. The colossal stones of the gods Baalbek's story begins with its temples, towering structures that once honored the Roman gods Jupiter, Bacchus, and Venus. The Temple of Jupiter was among the largest temples ever built by the Romans. Its 6 surviving columns still soar over 22 meters into the sky, each carved from a single piece of stone. But what lies beneath those columns is what truly captures the imagination. To Trilithon, at the base of the temple podium, rests the Trilithon, 3 enormous blocks, each weighing around 800 tons. They're perfectly aligned, locked together without mortar, as if cut by a machine. And in a nearby quarry lies an even greater marvel: the stone of the pregnant woman, estimated at around 1,000 tons. In 2014, archaeologists discovered an even larger unfinished block, weighing 650 tons, the largest known stone ever cut by human hands. To understand that weight, that's like 3 fully loaded Boeing 747s stacked together, or nearly 300 elephants. Imagine moving such a block without modern engines, steel cables, or hydraulics. Yet somehow, ancient builders did just that. The limits of Roman engineering. The Romans were master engineers. They built aqueducts, bridges, and amphitheaters that still stand today. Their cranes, called polyspasta, were marvels of design, capable of lifting up to 300 tons using pulleys and winches. But even the most advanced Roman machinery would have failed at Baalbek. The Trilithon. Stones are 5 times heavier than what Roman cranes could handle. So if the Romans couldn't lift them, who could? And why are there no records of their construction, even though Roman architects carefully documented projects across their empire? This mystery has puzzled historians for generations. But a new kind of researcher has recently taken on the challenge. Not a human one, but artificial intelligence. When AI enters archaeology using powerful simulation software, researchers fed data about Baalbek's stones, weight, density, terrain slope, and ancient tools into an AI system. Over 50,000 scenarios were tested. The AI simulated every known Roman technique: ramps made of packed earth, rollers made from logs, pulley systems powered by manpower and animals, and combinations of all 3. Every one of them failed when tested against the real weight of the megaliths, but the AI also learned. It began generating new methods, innovative systems the Romans could have used if they'd understood certain principles of physics and material distribution. The model proposed that by combining giant wooden sledges, lubricated surfaces made slick with animal fats or oils, and gradual inclined planes, the stones could be moved without sinking into soft soil. Instead of brute force, the weight would be spread across many points, drastically reducing friction. If the right methods were used, the AI concluded, a workforce of about 500 to 1,000 skilled laborers could have inched even the largest blocks into place. It's still a theory, but one that finally offers a bridge between impossibility and ingenuity. More than that, It reminds us that ancient builders were not primitive. They were mathematical thinkers, engineers, and logistical planners working with the resources of their time, possibly far more advanced than we usually give them credit for. The mystery of the foundation. What truly deepens Baalbek's mystery is that the megalithic foundation predates the Roman temples that rest above it. When you look closely at the Temple of Jupiter, you can clearly see two distinct styles of architecture. The upper layers, columns, capitals, and decorative carvings, are purely Roman, but the lower stones, the megalithic base, belong to a different era entirely. They're older, rougher, and far larger than anything else the Romans ever built. Nowhere in Roman architecture, not in Rome, not in Greece, not even in Egypt, do we find stones this big. This suggests that when the Romans arrived, they built upon an already ancient platform, a site that had been sacred long before their time. So, if not the Romans, who built the original base of Baalbek? Could it have been the Phoenicians, the Persians, or an even older civilization whose name has been lost to history? Legends of giants and lost worlds local myths offer one kind of answer. For generations, people living near Baalbek have told stories of giants who built the city. Beings of enormous strength, said to be descendants of the biblical Nephilim. According to some traditions, the site was constructed by order of King Nimrod, the legendary ruler who sought to build a tower to reach the heavens. Others say the stones were placed by angels or gods, making Baalbek a heavenly landing platform. Even its name carries echoes of ancient power. Before the Romans called it Heliopolis, City of the Sun, it was known as Baalbek, the city of Baal, the storm and fertility god worshipped by the Canaanites and Phoenicians. In local legend, Baal ruled the sky, commanding thunder and rain, bringing life to the valley below. His temple stood on a platform so grand that it was said to have been built by the gods themselves. Modern authors like Graham Hancock have taken these legends further. He suggests that Baalbek may be far older than mainstream archaeology allows, perhaps 12,000 years old, dating to the end of the last ice age. If true, that would mean Baalbek was built by a lost civilization, one with advanced knowledge of construction and engineering that vanished after a global catastrophe. While most scholars consider this speculative, the idea resonates because, quite simply, the stones themselves don't fit the timeline. Science Dig's deeper serious archaeological work at Baalbek began in 1898, when Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany visited the site and ordered an excavation. Between 1898 and 1904, archaeologists uncovered multiple layers of history beneath the Roman ruins. They discovered that the site had been continuously inhabited for over 10,000 years, dating back to the Neolithic period. This means people were living here long before the rise of Egypt, Mesopotamia, or Rome. Excavations also found Persian pottery shards in the nearby quarry, dating to the 6th to 4th centuries BCE, proof that the site was used during the Persian Empire, long before Roman times. Some have suggested the Persians might have worked on the stone foundations, but there's a problem. Persian construction elsewhere, like at Persepolis, used much smaller stones, no more than 20 tons each. Nothing in their history hints at the ability to carve, move, or set 1,000-ton blocks. Then, archaeologists made another remarkable discovery. Roman blueprints, literally carved into the stone floor of the courtyard. They showed exact measurements and design, layouts, evidence that the Romans planned their temples meticulously. But these blueprints stop at the Roman structures above. The megalithic base beneath them? It's absent. That silence speaks volumes. The Herodian connection archaeologists have noticed something else unusual about Baalbek. The style of the megalithic masonry looks strikingly similar to the stonework found in Herodian architecture in Jerusalem. Both use the same drafted margins, the same alternating header and stretcher system, and the same average stone height, around 1.1 meters. These similarities may not be coincidence. They could suggest that Baalbek and Jerusalem shared a network of master builders, architects, and stonemasons who exchanged ideas across the Near East. If that's true, Baalbek might not be the work of a lost civilization at all, but of a regional tradition of advanced engineering that has simply been forgotten. An ancient understanding of geology German. Researcher Margarethe van Es made another key discovery. By studying tool marks and fracture lines on the megaliths, she found that the ancient builders intentionally cut along natural fissures in the limestone bedrock. They weren't guessing. They were reading the rock. This method allowed them to extract enormous blocks without cracking them. It required an expert understanding of geology, of how stone behaves under pressure and stress. The same principle was later used in Roman aqueducts like the Pont du Gard in France, showing a shared scientific approach to stone engineering across the empire. This evidence paints the builders of Baalbek not as mystics, but as scientists of their age, blending art, physics, and observation in ways we're only now rediscovering. The many layers of Baalbek isn't a single monument. It's a timeline carved in stone. Over thousands of years, each civilization added, removed, or reimagined parts of the site. The Neolithic people, long before temples and gods, Neolithic settlers lived here, drawn by fertile soil and fresh water. To them, this was sacred ground, a place where heaven met earth. The Phoenicians and Persians centuries later. The Phoenicians worshipped Baal-Hadad, god of storms and fertility, on this same hill. When the Persians came, they continued to honor the site as holy, blending their own deities with local ones. Then came the Romans, who merged Baal-Hadad with Jupiter, their king of gods. They built the grand temple of Jupiter, temple of Bacchus, and temple of Venus, a city of marble and gold they called Heliopolis, city of the sun. The medieval fortress, when Rome fell, Baalbek was not abandoned. In the Middle Ages, it became a fortress, and many of its colossal stones were reused in towers and defensive walls. At least 9 of the original megaliths were moved again, each over 1,000 tons, showing that even medieval engineers recognized their unmatched strength through every era. Baalbek remained sacred, reborn under new gods, new empires, and new names. The sacred geometry of the gods. Some researchers have noted that Baalbek's layout is not random. The main temples align with astronomical markers, the rising of the sun at certain solstices, and even the movements of specific stars. This has led some to speculate that the builders possessed advanced astronomical knowledge, embedding cosmic symbolism into stone. Others argue that the alignment was purely ceremonial, a way to connect temples to celestial gods like Jupiter, Venus, and the sun. Either way, it reveals a spiritual geometry, a belief that the heavens and the earth were one interconnected design. To the ancients, Baalbek wasn't just architecture, it was a cosmic instrument. Myth, science, and the unknown today. Baalbek sits quietly under the Lebanese sun, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, visited by thousands every year. Modern archaeologists see it as a testament to human perseverance. Mystics see it as proof of lost civilizations or ancient technology, and engineers see it as an unsolved problem, one that challenges our understanding of what ancient people could achieve. The truth may lie somewhere in between. Baalbek's stones show that humanity's past was not a simple story of progress from primitive to advanced. It was a cycle of knowledge gained, lost, rediscovered, and reimagined. Perhaps the builders of Baalbek understood principles of mechanics and teamwork that we've only recently relearned, or perhaps they tapped into something even deeper, a forgotten connection between human creativity and the natural world. Conclusion. The stones still speak standing. Before the great platform of Baalbek, it's hard not to feel small. These stones have survived earthquakes, invasions, and the slow erosion of time. They've watched empires rise and fall, and yet they remain silent, immovable, eternal. Who first cut them? How were they transported and set with such perfect precision? And what vision drove their builders to attempt something so immense, so seemingly impossible? We may never have all the answers, but in trying to solve the mystery of Baalbek, we rediscover something profound. That human ambition, the desire to reach beyond the limits of the possible, has always been part of who we are. Whether built by Romans, Persians, or an unknown ancient civilization, Baalbek is a monument to that timeless spirit. It reminds us that even in the distant past, our ancestors dreamed big, dreams so bold that they still echo in stone.